So I just think the whole concept of work-life balance was invented by people who hate the work that they do.
Today, we're talking about a real one. A bloke that hates the system and the banks and the corporate fat cats. A man who does not abide by the little boxes that society puts us into. I'll tell you what, I'd go as far as to call this guy a punk through and through. James Watt, founder of Brewdog. And I think he'd agree with my analysis of him being a punk, since it's literally his whole brand. He has a book called Business for Punks. Now, if LinkedIn gained sentience and took human form, it would morph into James Watt. This guy is a LinkedIn fiend. He's quite possibly the most LinkedIn man that has ever walked the earth. And honestly, I don't think that you can call yourself a punk if you use LinkedIn to any capacity. As soon as you join LinkedIn, you forego any right to call yourself a punk. It's even in his LinkedIn bio, James Watt, investor, entrepreneur, punk. I mean, I think investor and entrepreneur are the two least punk things ever. Also, being real, it is quite cringe to call yourself a punk, innit? Like, it would be like me calling myself incredibly muscular and massively handsome. Which I am, don't get me wrong, but you're less likely to believe me if I keep going on about it, which I would never do. But our mate James the Punk Watt has found himself in hot water the last month or so. First for this bizarre LinkedIn post where he asked his LinkedIn followers for advice on if he should delay his wedding to save a few grand in tax. Should I delay marrying Georgia Toffolo? I need some help, guys. Here's the story. I'm making an investment into Wildpack, an incredible UK-based raw dog food business, transforming dogs' lives through raw natural nutrition. I'm a massive advocate of this mission. And the founder, Georgia Toffolo, but that's your fiance. Yes, I'm biased, but in my defense, it is a bloody great business, but my tax advisor just dropped a bombshell on me the other day. God, that's so punk, having a tax advisor. If I marry Georgia within 3 years of investing, I become a connected person under HMRC rules and I lose the EIS tax relief. That is not punk, man. That is not punk one bit. Real punks always make sure to keep their EIS tax relief. So I'm now facing the ultimate question. The ultimate question, yeah? Delay the wedding for 3 years and lock in the tax relief, or forego the tax break and marry Georgia in 2025. What would you do? Well, yeah, LinkedIn is probably the best place to go for advice on that. But he later claimed in a post that it was a joke. He said, okay, the UK papers have been hard on this one. When I joked about delaying my wedding for tax relief this week, I thought a couple of papers might have had a slow day and picked it up, not all the papers. Let's be honest, I was clearly joking. There's no way I'd survive calling off a wedding to save £3,500 in tax, not if I wanted to live to see the big day. A huge thank you to the national newspapers for their expert journalism and for continuing to bring the British public the highest quality news stories out there. The lesson, sometimes it's okay to have a laugh with the press, even if they aren't in on the joke. I have a feeling it wasn't a joke. I don't know. Deep down, I just feel as though if there was any man I would believe would put off his wedding for 3 years to save $3.5 grand despite being worth tens of millions, it's James Punky Penguin Watts. Also, mate, you are a multi-millionaire. Why are you bothering going through the effort of this for a really lame gotcha? Like, surely you have better things to be doing. But I don't know. Maybe it's just some kind of punky prank that I don't get because I'm too in the system. But the other day, he posted another bizarre thing on his LinkedIn. This time it was a video where him and his fiance are talking about work-life balance and what they think of it. And it is probably just as terrible as you're anticipating.
So I just think the whole concept of work-life balance was invented by people who hate the work that they do. So if you love what you do, you don't need work-life balance, you need work-life integration.
That is so punk, man. Neglecting work-life balance. All the great punks in history did that. But like, what the fuck is he waffling? What is he waffling about here? Let's analyze.
The whole concept of work-life balance was invented by people who hate the work that they do.
The whole concept of work-life balance was created by people who hate their jobs. That is absolute bollocks. You might love working all the time, but most people, as much as they may love their work, need time to switch off every now and then. Actually, not even every now and then, very regularly. And look, I love what I do. My job for today is to sit down and talk about this guy. That is my job. It's great. But sometimes I have days where I'm just like, fucking hell, I need a day where I just spend the whole day playing FIFA career mode and not thinking about anything to do with YouTube. And if possible, in the evenings, I just switch off. I don't think about YouTube at all. And it's really good for me because I used to not do that. I used to just constantly like be making videos like all the time and always thinking about it and always doing something to do with YouTube. But painting everyone who likes to have a break and likes to be healthy in the way they balance their lives as hating their jobs is fucking stupid. It's the sort of stupid shit you'd hear some 14-year-old who's just discovered alpha male podcast would say, oh, never stop working. The grind never stops. You're Your competition aren't slacking. Fuck work-life balance. It's a myth created by the system to keep you poor.
So if you love what you do, you don't need work-life balance, you need work-life integration.
And then he says, so if you love what you do, then you don't need work-life balance. Mate, just like take the evening off. It won't kill you. Like, play some FIFA, watch The Chase. I don't know, man.
It's so true. And when I met James, I was quite taken aback at how aligned we are on the important stuff. And one of those is lack of work-life balance.
Yeah, that's what you want to look for in a partner. That too is one of the important things that I look for in a partner. Someone with a lack of work-life balance, because those are always very well-adjusted people. Look, okay, right. If you don't like having a work-life balance, if you just love grinding and working all the time, I can relate as a certified bag grabber myself. I can relate in some degree because I was kind of like that before. I wasn't like making videos going, oh no, there's no such thing as a work-life balance. Like if you believe in a work-life balance, then you must hate your job. I do kind of sort of like basically all I used to do was stuff to do with YouTube. And look, if you want that, then that's fine. That's perfectly fine. I'm not going to go, oh, you should change your life. You should not be doing that. But to push it onto other people and be like, oh yeah, what, you don't like just sitting around and working all day? Oh yeah, that's a you problem. You must hate your job. You're not on the grind like me.
But in a really beautiful way. So work knows no bounds. Constantly in our home, we are working.
Honestly, that sounds dead boring if both of you just sat around working all day. Do they never just go like, fuck it, let's just have an evening where we watch like The Traitors? I know they probably do, but I think this thing of shaming a work-life balance and boiling it down to if you don't want to be working all the time, you must hate your job is so stupid. Like, I love playing tennis, but I can't play tennis all the time because I'd knacker myself out and I'd be very bored of playing tennis. Too much of something, no matter how much you enjoy it, isn't good. And just because it's seen as productive doesn't make it any different. Eventually, you will burn out.
I've always known that I would end up with someone like James because it would not work otherwise. You know, if someone was saying, right, you need to knock off now, I'd be thinking, well, what? Do you not like my business? Do you not believe in me? Are we not driving towards the same thing? You know.
What? Hi darling, it's 10 p.m. I'm probably gonna get ready for bed. Do you want to stop working and come to bed so we can go to sleep? Why are you asking me that, huh? Did you not believe in me? Do you hate my business? Do you hate me? I don't think we're compatible anymore. No matter how much of a punk you are, I'm leaving. Goodbye. Also, right, I found the business she runs. It's a dog food company. I mean, it was mentioned in that post that James made earlier on. And I'm sure they make mighty fine dog scram. But the company's about section on LinkedIn is such bollocks. I just have to show you. I think it's only the first sentence of it, but it's like such new age corporate bollocks. Worldpack isn't just a pet food. It's pet philosophy. What does that? That doesn't mean anything. Pet philosophy. That doesn't fucking mean anything. Pet philosophy. But as you might be able to tell from the fact he's posting a lot on social media, written posts and video posts, he seems to be attempting to become an influencer, and I have no idea why, honestly. I've seen other successful, very rich people try and become influencers as well, and it completely baffles me. If you have tens of millions or maybe even more in the bank, I have no idea why you want to become a fucking influencer. Surely if you had that much money, you'd have something better to be doing. I know I would have something far better to be doing than whatever the fuck this is. I'm sorry, right? But if I had tens of millions of quid, I am so sorry. As much as I love doing this, I am so sorry, but you never hear from me ever again. Why the fuck would you choose rage baiting on LinkedIn and rotting on social media to get some weird form of validation over living la vida loca? But maybe I'm just a hater, a British unmotivated hater. James Watt made another post. In the US, success means you've built something great. In the UK, success means you must have done something wrong. When are we going to ditch the cynicism and celebrate hard work? Let's watch the video attached to this post.
Everyone is happy for you. Everyone is invested in your success. And I think that's because of how inculcated they are with the American dream. They see someone successful, they think, hell yeah, well done you, because that could be me. And I think in the UK, sadly, it's tough for entrepreneurs, people being successful, because the attitude is completely reversed. Rather than seeing someone being successful and thinking, hell yeah, that could be me, well done you, it's like, well, that's not me, and there's bitterness and there's resentfulness, and they think that successful people are only successful because they cheated or because they did something wrong.
Okay, right, I think there is a a sort of twinge of truth to what he's saying here, but I think I hear this a lot, like, oh, in Britain, you're penalised for doing well. People hate you if you succeed in Britain, when I don't think that's true. I think there's a bit more to it than that. I think one of those sort of best comparisons you can make in with sort of arguments like this is like US stand-up comedians versus British stand-up comedians. US stand-up comedians, a lot of the time, will walk out on stage with like chains, really expensive watch, expensive clothes, like, because that is the culture over there, to be very sort of, I don't think flamboyant's the word, but like show-offy, like you show off a lot. And I think that's just US culture. Whereas the UK, no matter how rich the comedian is, they're coming out in like a H&M t-shirt, a £20 pair of jeans, and some like knackered shoes. Because showing off is seen as cringe over here. And it's the same with like success, right? Because I feel as though if you're successful in Britain, as long as you're not like bragging about it, people are generally happy for you, I guess. I don't know, it depends on the person. Like some people are gonna be happy for you, some people aren't, because they're gonna be jealous. And I think that goes both ways in the US, but I think in the US, people just conceal it better. Like in the US, they seem to just conceal it behind fake enthusiasm. Whereas in the UK, people don't really tend to hide that. But I think as long as like you're not showing off, people generally do not really care. And I think the point he makes at the end where he's like, people in the UK only think others are successful because they cheated or they've fucked someone over or whatever. That's just not true. Like, I don't know who you've been talking to, but like I've never experienced that personally. Like, as I said, as long as you're not like a dick about it or you're not making your whole thing showing off, people are... No, I wouldn't say in general they're happy for you, because most people just don't care that much about other people's lives, and fair enough. Like, I'm not going around jumping for joy thinking about other people's successes, you know, and I don't think anyone is. I just think people in general don't care, and they don't wish to have, like, people shove sort of their success down their throats. I think it does just come down to culture. Like in Britain, people tend to be like more down to earth, I found, like, because I've been to America a fair few times, and a lot of the time people there are just larger than life. They're massive personalities. And like, it's even like when you look at like American reality TV, like the people that go on American reality TV seem ready for it, even though they're just like members of the general public. But then you watch British reality TV and they're all so awkward, just because I feel as though like British people are more sort of calm and down to earth. Maybe I feel as I'm waffling here. I'm going on quite a bit here. But I do think there is a twinge of truth to what he has to say, but I think a lot of it comes down to British people just being more candid with like what they're thinking about someone and what they're feeling. But I think just to put like a blanket statement over, oh, if you're in the US and you're successful, then everyone thinks you're well sick, but in the UK, everyone thinks you're a wanker if you're successful. I think that's just stupid. Like, there's going to be cynicism everywhere you go. It's just going to be more well hidden in certain places. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there for this video. I hope you did enjoy. Like and subscribe if you are a real punk